Welcome to Zootopia.
What's up, people? So given the fact that this summer is filled with boring pieces of shit, or just pieces of shit, I decided to check out some older films I hadn't seen before. More precisely, two animated films that were fairly well received. And I can see why in the case of Wreck-It Ralph. But Big Hero 6, whew, I do have something to say about that one. Anyway, Wreck-It Ralph. Right off the back, if this movie wasn't so damn entertaining and just an enjoyable experience, I probably wouldn't have finished it. Because an animated movie where inanimate creatures come alive when no one is seeing them, that's not exactly brand territory. That's Toy Story, or Inside Out if you switch creatures with emotions. So why is Wreck-It Ralph about? Well, it's about a guy named Ralph. He's a character in an arcade video game. And in this universe, all arcade characters are really sentient beings that solely exist to obey human beings as their slaves. Okay, that last part might be a fucked up exaggeration, but given the fact that the game world where these creatures exist is destroyed in case a malfunction occurs, which results in the deaths of anyone who is inside the game at the moment of unplugging, and that they'll spend the majority of their lifespan as puppets for the amusement of children, comparing this to slavery isn't that inaccurate. But anyway, Ralph is our protagonist, which is ironic since he isn't even the protagonist of his own game. He's the bad guy of his game. Fix-It Felix is a good guy. One day, Ralph gets tired of always being treated like a Canadian and seeing Felix getting all the attention and the parties, all because he gets the Medal of Hero every time he eventually wins his own game. So Ralph leaves the game and decides to try and find a Medal of Hero for himself in another game. And that's how the story begins. In terms of originality, Wreck-It Ralph isn't the most special snowflake in all the land. In fact, pretty much the entire plot is easy to predict, but what keeps this movie entertaining throughout the majority of its runtime is the likable cast of characters and the messages it tries to convey. Although, even thematically, this movie is easy to see coming, since in the first 10 minutes they tell us what the film is all about.
Jen keeps saying, labels not make you happy. Good, bad, you must love you.
But even so, I was never annoyed by the film's setbacks. Yes, the concept is very vanilla, the pandering to a kid-friendly demographic with all the duty jokes and the cute nicknames Ralph and Vanellope had for each other is present. It's not really that layered, not as obnoxious like other crap, but not the type of film you'll watch later in life and realize how much texture it has. It's all very surface level. But even with all those things, the film still managed to string at that thing in my chest and made me care enough to like it. In Ralph and Vanellope, we have two characters with personality and good-looking character design. In the supporting cast, not so much, but we also have good music that, despite coming off a little too mainstream for my taste, it works within the moment. And by the end, the film managed to teach the importance of someone being themselves without coming off too preachy or just shooting themselves in the face. I was planning on giving it a 5 out of 10, but then this happened.
As your merciful princess, I hereby decree that everyone who was ever mean to me shall be executed.
What? No, please.
Oh my man. Oh, this place just got interesting.
So I have to give Wreck-It Ralph a 6 out of 10. It may not be the most original, clever, or mature animated movie out there, but it gave me that feeling of fun that I couldn't find in any of the films that I watched in theaters this summer. So I'm glad I watched it, and I definitely recommend it. What I don't recommend is Big Hero 6. Oh boy, was this movie a surprise. Directed by someone, I guess, and written by the Hollywood Factory, this movie tells the story of a 14-year-old kid with an infinite IQ who, after losing his brother 40 minutes or so into the film and realizing that his invention was stolen by someone who might be up to bad guy stuff, he goes on an adventure to find out who this masked person is and stop him. Big Hero 6, the winner of the Best Animated Film of the 2015 Academy Award, is a giant pile of horseshit. This is without doubt one of the worst animated films to gain so much popularity. Unlike Frozen or Zootopia, two films that are overrated on their own, at least they have qualities that make them either unique or pleasant to watch. The only positives I was able to come up for this film are the fact that it could have been much worse. One of the three characters that died actually stayed dead, something that matters given the fact that the main theme is coming to terms with the loss of a loved one, and the animation isn't terrible. That's pretty much it. The plot sucks, the story sucks, the characters suck, the score sucks. This movie might as well be available on the blowjob section in Pornhub. For starters, the plot doesn't kick in until half the movie has passed through. It starts with the protagonist fighting in some underground robot fights as a way to win money, illegally, but that never goes anywhere, and the only purpose I can think of for the existence of those scenes is the fact that the film needs to drop huge amounts of background and character exposition so the audience can understand these characters.
You graduated high school when you were 13, and this is what you're doing? Bot fighting is illegal. You're gonna get yourself arrested.
Bot fighting is not illegal. Betting on bot fighting, that's illegal, but so lucrative. I'm on a roll, big brother, and there is no stopping me.
Our main lead, Hero, he's the biggest Mary Sue I have ever seen. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't believe Mary Sues exist. This dude can do anything. He literally created something that could revolutionize the entire world in a matter of seconds just so he could get accepted in some school. And whatever gadget he might need along the way, Hero will create it without breaking a sweat. This guy even surpasses Kirito from SAO in terms of plot device. There's nothing this kid cannot do. As for the other characters, well, the only other real character is the robot, since everyone else is just a bland stereotype. The brother, the one that dies. Let's talk about his death and how retarded the presentation was. After Hero cures cancer, he goes outside to talk with his brother. Then they hear screams and realize that the building is on fire. People are running for their lives, and for some reason the brother stops this random woman who wasn't in any more danger than the rest of the extras, and the only thing she tells him is that the one person trapped in the building is someone he cares for.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, but Professor Callahan's still in there.
Tadashi!
This is one of the most retarded ways I have seen to kill off a character. And even worse, this is supposed to be the trigger that puts the protagonist in the emotional state he needs to be in order for the plot to happen. If you thought the way they got rid of Black Panther's dad in Civil War was generic and bland, you have yet to see true genericness and blandness on screen. This entire sequence was a hilarious display of directorial incompetence. It's just amazing to watch. After their supposedly deaths, some time passes by. They don't tell us exactly how long, but we can assume it's not that long since the kid looks exactly the same and the robot says he's starting puberty.
Puberty?
Whoa, what?
Which is a little bit weird since he was already 14 when his brother was alive.
Washed up at 14.
So I guess Hero is a late bloomer or something. Anyway, the kid is now depressed because his brother died, and apparently the only people in his life to cheer him up are his aunt and his brother's college friends. Seriously, then the most cliche things in the history of cliches happen, and that's when a character tells something to another character that doesn't know what metaphors mean, and so he takes it literally and does the thing he was told to do so the plot can happen. Yeah, that. So the big balloon robot follows the little robot, and they discover that Hero's invention is being replicated at this abandoned warehouse. And for some reason, despite seeing a machine creating more micro-robots, Hero assumes those are the same ones that's supposedly burning the fire. It turns out that they are the same ones, but with the machine making more, you would think he could at least theorize that maybe someone else figured out a way to create more of them or something. But no, he just knows right off the bat that these are the ones he created. And so when this masked man attacks them, he assumes this person created the fire as a distraction to steal his robots and accidentally kill his brother. You'd think this is quite an assumption by a character that's supposed to have a genius level intellect, but that's really what happens. The rest of the film is just cartoonish crap that I have completely forgotten about, so I'm just gonna list some stupid things that I remember. Number 1, the fact that the bad guy was wearing a mask just made it that much easier to figure out that the antagonist was gonna turn out to be either the dead brother or the dead professor. Number 2, the bad guy being the professor makes no sense. First of all, how much time has passed since his daughter died? His personality totally changes after the fire. Like he used to be just a normal, calm professor, but now he's assigned a different backstory, so the plot can use him as the villain. And what exactly was his plan in case the kid had invented those micro-robots? Was he actually gonna do something, or he only went after revenge because of Hero's machines? Number 3, in the end, Hero mirroring his brother's final scene was interesting, but not because it's clever, more like the opposite. In his brother's case, it's proven that his actions only resulted in his own death, since the professor saved himself. So Hero doing this homage isn't clever or funny, it's just plain stupid. Number 4, I was gonna give the movie props for ending with a robot having to sacrifice himself, but then they pulled that bullshit with a chip. So, fuck 'em. Number 5, and one of my personal favorites, it's really ironic that the film ends with the daughter being rescued. It makes Hero's speech about revenge not bringing her back completely pointless, because if the bad guy hadn't acted like a bad guy, his daughter might have been lost forever. You can even say his actions were justified, or that this movie has its head up its own ass. And number 6, the finale. This movie has no fucking clue what messages it's trying to convey. During the first half, the only thing they prove is that if you're smart as hell, you can do whatever you need with time to spare and jerk off. After that, the only theme it tried to develop is about how to deal with the loss of a loved one. And that theme is ruined given the fact that 2/3 of the characters, over half the characters that died, come back by the end of the film. I'm giving Big Hero 6 a 3 out of 10. Once again, I've been proven that no matter how bad a film is, the Academy will notice it and reward it with a trophy. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you like it, comment below, down below, leave a like for that YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!